So what's going on with the Teen Titans? We haven't heard very much on this project for a really long time, and now we're getting some really interesting and conflicting reports on what's going on with this film and who actually is going to be leading the team. Throw out your assumptions because there might be a bit of a surprise here. Well, several months ago, we actually got confirmation that a live-action Teen Titans movie was indeed in development at DC Studios, and Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow writer Anna Nagura had been enlisted to pen the script. Now, since then, we've really gotten next to nothing. Gunn has confirmed it's happening, and we had a leaked logline that seemed to give us some insight into what's going on. Now, that logline basically said, quote, "The Teen Titans are further apart than ever before until Damian Wayne recruits Starfire, Raven, Beast Boy, and the new Kid Flash to join him in a fight against his grandfather, Ra's al Ghul." Now, when this logline first came out, it came via Production Weekly, and honestly was never something James Gunn confirmed. Now, later on, we started to hear that the movie is actually going to focus on a pre-existing team being revived, which actually suggested to many people we could get the classic lineup, which would have been Wally West, Dick Grayson, the Garth version of Aqualad, and Donna Troy. And that brings us to today's story. Actually, two stories. So we have two separate Scooper reports, and they're actually in conflict with each other, which is kind of interesting, but kind of the nature of the beast. Now, the first report comes via Daniel Rickman. And what Daniel Rickman is saying, and as many of you know, he's got a pretty great track record on some of these casting reports and insider stories. Now, what he is saying is this indeed will be Bruce Wayne's son Damian, who will be featured in the upcoming Brave and the Bold movie, if that ever gets made. This seemed to make the most sense when this story first dropped, because we were definitely getting the impression that the current world of the DC Universe had already seen multiple Robins, Damian was the new Robin, and it lined up with the logline. But then we got an update from Nexus Point News. Now, Nexus Point News writer Apocalyptic Horseman says that he heard it would not be Damian Wayne, but would indeed be the third Robin, Tim Drake. Now, if you're a fan of the comics, you know he actually led the team for quite a long time, and went on to take on a new name, Red Robin, with a completely new take on the costume. Now, personally, if I'm picking between the two, I actually think more than likely it's going to be Damian, but honestly, guys, if we've had multiple generations of Robins and we're putting together a Titans team, it might actually work better to have that team separate and focus on the third Robin, Tim Drake. This also would establish that Robin lineage in the new DC universe, which is something really important to the Batman mythos. And since James Gunn said we're definitely going to have a whole pre-existing Bat family, there's absolutely no reason to think that Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and Tim Drake haven't already held the mantle before Damian, giving them sort of maximum flexibility. Now, as for the villain, Ra's al Ghul would definitely be a great choice and at the top of the list, but James Gunn has confirmed plans to introduce Deathstroke and Bane in the next couple of years. Now, the original suggestion was they would be part of a separate movie, but as these insider reports often come out, sometimes details are lost, and honestly, Deathstroke teamed up with Bane would be a great pair of villains to take on a classic lineup of Teen Titans. I think at this point, it's probably more important to focus on Batman and get him established in this new DCU. Without a good Batman, none of this really works, and we need to establish that lineage, the Dark Knight, the champions of Gotham City, in order to have a Robin lead a team, no matter what version they go with. I'm going to follow this one pretty closely because I'm a Teen Titans fan, but I do hope whatever direction they do go in, they make sure they get their history and foundation set properly, because without it, this movie could probably struggle. So, until we know more, what do you guys think? Which Robin would you like to see lead the upcoming Teen Titans project? And what would be your Titan lineup? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Before we take off, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC news, and we want to bring you all the news truthfully and transparently, so you're really in the know.